Welcome back, boys and girls, to another episode of K-Babe Comparisons. My name is Mr. Knowitall, Daniel John Schafer, and I am joined here once again by the king of frontside 180 kickflips, Mr. Wex, breaking the Lawson. Wex, how are we doing today, bud?
Doing pretty good. This is a different early morning version of the podcast instead of a late afternoon, so no beers, still pretty tired. Got me a nice Red Bull winter edition to wake myself up this morning for this great podcast we're about to record.
Yes, great podcast indeed. This week we are covering Ring of Honor's final battle, could possibly be their final ever pay-per-view, versus Armageddon 2006. Going to kind of finish up that 2006 storyline, moving into 07. I'm pretty excited about that. But before we do, I got some feedback about the Vengeance 01 and War Games show, and I got called out. A lot of you guys were like, you know, it's a great pay-per-view, but it's nowhere near as good as WrestleMania 17. But you know what? I'm standing my ground. I think the Vengeance is better. I don't care what you guys say. You can vote against me, but I am Mr. Know-It-All here, and I am right. So Vengeance was better. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Hey, I'm not going to disagree. I fucking love Vengeance, so I definitely will not disagree with you on that. I had a few people who told me that they thought the NXT 2.0 was a little bit better than we rated it, but I'm not so sure. I think they just have a little WWE boner there, and they just want to keep giving it a little extra, but it was not that fucking good. Like,
no, it wasn't that good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad show.
No, it wasn't bad, but it was not. I think we rated it very fairly.
I think we did too. And I think we're going to rate this one very fairly as well. But before we get to the meat and potatoes of the show, let's get into the news. What's going on? What's the current events? What's the haps? Tell me about the social studies we got going on here.
All right, so the first thing, of course, we had that really big, amazing Wednesday night AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming with the Broadway of Bryan Danielson going up against Hangman Adam Page. And
great match.
Like, it was insane. Like, fucking, like, storytelling to the T. Ric Flair even went on Twitter and was like, all right, that was one of the best Broadways I've ever seen. He was talking shit about Danielson like a week before, but I guess, you know, he changed his mind, and that's what goddamn good wrestling does. You might not think someone's that good, and you're like, fuck, they can do that. It was really good, really good. And the story there, which is great. Think about this. You know, Kenny drawed with Danielson, and then Hangman drawed with Danielson, but yet Hangman beat Kenny.
Yeah.
So it's like you have so much going on there. Rematches on both sides. They can work that, weave that any way they want, which is AEW's good at doing that. And speaking of AEW, Brody King, it's kind of been leaked, but he's the official new signee to AEW, part of the House of Black faction. If you saw the little vignette on Dynamite, it kind of teased him bringing a person into the faction, and it's kind of been leaked out that it's Brody King, which they're already a tag team. They're the PWG tag team champions anyway, so.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, yeah, it just makes sense. Also, Brody King is kind of a badass, so.
Yeah, they're both gnarly, so they could be a definite, formidable team to deal with in AEW. So have you heard about the Jeff Hardy conspiracy?
Yeah, the idea that he like faked it to get fired.
Yes, which is absolutely ridiculous.
It's asinine. It's asinine to say that.
I mean, why would you? Yeah, come on now. And I think it's kind of ridiculous that they did firing prematurely without giving him the drug test and stuff, because Matt's saying it's going to come back clean, and they just kind of jumped the gun on it.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well,
so we'll see what happens when it all comes out, because if it comes out that he was clean and it just was like him just being weird and they just decided to jump the gun, that's looks bad on WWE is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, or he could have just been drunk.
I mean, but you can just be drunk one night and a little something, you know. I mean, WWE embraces that. They turned it into a storyline.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. He got public intox too, like in 2019, and then they're like, fuck it, we're going to make it a storyline. Like that, there's no way that can be good for your psyche. But anyways, speaking of the WWE, Kevin Owens has actually re-signed. We had the rumors he's going to leave.
It makes sense.
He said he was going to, he's doing what's best for his family.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's comfortable there, and I think that he's a top 10 guy, and they're going to continue to use him as a top 10 guy. So that's, I mean, if you can, regardless of how you feel about WWE, if you can be one of the top 10 guys on that roster and you know you're going to be used regularly, why would you go anywhere else? I mean, AEW is great. It's it's an upstart promotion. It's hot. It's like, it's fashionable right now. But like it's still not close to WWE in like global reach.
Yeah, like
so
money.
Why would you not stay as long as you possible? I mean, because how old is Owens now? He's like in his he's like 38, 39, right?
Yeah, and at this point, he's been in WWE longer than any other promotion he's been with.
Right, and he signed. I think it was the new signing was a 4-year deal, right? So he'll be 42
like
when he gets out, and that's not too old to go to AEW and have like one more year and be done. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, yeah, I mean, hats off to him. Stay in the top 10, make as much money as you possibly can. Good for you, Kevin Owens.
And if they can try to snag some people from AEW, I know Fox, USA, and all the networks specifically are interested in Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF.
Of course.
Why would you not be? We've said this many times. Best heel, best talker in the game today, and he's like early 20s.
Yeah, he's the best on the mic. Yeah, it's insane.
And one more big thing, which is going to be part of one of the pay-per-views we're covering, the final battle. The new Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Grisham is going to be for the first time defending that belt on a GCW show tonight as we're recording this Friday, December the 17th, against AJ Gray in a pure rules match.
Ooh, okay. I like that.
I mean, I don't think, Grisham's going to drop the belt to AJ Gray, but if he did, dude.
There's no way.
There's no way, but that'd be so sick for AJ Gray to be the Ring of Honor World Champion.
Of course, yeah.
Be amazing, but I don't think it's going to happen just yet. But, dude, just the rub he's going to get from having that match is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll talk about this more when we cover the Ring of Honor show, but I like the idea of these titles being used. We have anything else in the news?
Nothing that significant, just we really covered the whole thing. We haven't really gotten, I don't know if the ratings have came out for Winter is Coming yet. They may have by the time we recorded this, but that's probably the only big news because they're going to be like, who got the key demos? Did we beat this and that? Which I don't care. I just want to see some good wrestling.
Yeah, I really don't care about ratings at all. I feel like
I just want to see good shit.
It's so stupid that people act like that's what measures success in 2021. Like, I don't know anybody with cable TV. I don't know, like, not one person.
I stream everything.
Yeah, why? It's so dumb. I feel like it's such an old, idiotic.
We're not promoting for the streaming services. We're just saying it's dumb. I'm not I'm not sponsored by Sling TV here, guys.
Yeah. I mean, regardless.
Wink, come on, y'all, give us something.
It is what it is. Let's move on here. Let's get to the actual meat and potatoes of the show. We're going to get in our Wayback Machine and keep our 2006 WWE storyline kind of going. And let's dive right into it. It's Armageddon 2006. So this is the December pay-per-view. It's the pay-per-view right after the Survivor Series.
And which we covered, so.
Yeah. So we're going to keep it going here. Let's we got a package that was kind of weird, kind of like a mixture of Attitude Era and like cheesiness at the same time. It wasn't terrible. It just felt like they were trying to do diet Attitude Era. It
had that old vibe a little bit, but it just like the production was just weird on it, like the way they put the package together.
Yeah. It felt a little strange. Speaking of strange, the first match on the card here is MVP versus Kane in an Inferno match. I mean, what do you say? Okay, it's a spectacular visual every time. Like, it always looks cool. And both guys can go. The crowd is definitely hot for it, no pun intended. And I thought the spots were really smart, like the wheelbarrow spot into the turnbuckle to like get him towards the fire. I thought they'd like whoever laid out the match, probably Pat Patterson, did a really great job of like teasing the fire. In a wrestling match, which was like, if you put wrestling matches together on a regular basis, that's not something you normally would think of. So I think they did a really good job overall. The pro wrestling was maybe 2 beers at best, but the sports entertainment of it was like 4.5 beers. So to average that out, I gave it like 2.5 beers total. Pretty solid, maybe even 2.75. Where are you at on this Inferno match?
I mean, I thought it was pretty like impressive. Just like you said, it wasn't fantastic wrestling, but there's some really cool spots, like the flaming turnbuckle pad spot. Lots of really cool things in the match. Like they were very inventive of what they were doing. Like you said, whoever laid it out. And I will say one thing: JBL started out very high on commentary. Like his first couple, like this match, and we go, he's killing it, but it progressively gets horribly worse throughout the night. But on this match, JBL was killing it. I was loving some of the shit he was saying. Yeah, he was like, oh my god, it's 500 degrees, and just that's 100 degrees hotter than Juvenile, actually, if you think about it. But MVP literally got set on fire. Like, I thought that was pretty cool that I don't know what they put on his singlet, but he was legit on fire. And anytime in a wrestling match, when someone is actually flames are coming off of them, that always pops me.
Yeah, of course.
It's always good. Even if it's all set up, even if it's bullshit, I still love to see people on fire in matches.
Yeah.
I gave it 3 beers, a little bit more than you. It was right in the middle. It was just I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, Kane versus MVP. All right, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense that we like the fire. I mean, it's like, I feel like it's satisfying the basic human need for like circus entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like pro wrestling is the last living like carny sideshow. Like it really is. So.
100%.
That being said, let's keep it moving. There's a segment in the back with Teddy Long and the Divas, which was god awful. I thought JBL on commentary during all of this was phenomenal. I mean, just like top notch. This is the best of his career, probably. Yeah, and then the next match here is going to be London and Kendrick versus Regal and Taylor versus Eminem versus the Hardys in a WWE Tag Team Championship ladder match. Man, Teddy Long was all over this sumbitch, by the way, this whole show. Let's get some ladders out here, player.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That popped me so hard.
They would switch back and forth between calling him Teddy Long and Theodore Long. Like, it was never consistent, but I thought it was cool. I was like, all right, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And the match was really great, man. I completely forgot that Dave Taylor even had his run here. But all the spots were awesome and crisp. I mean, I know Mercury got really jacked up on that ladder spot. And they showed it over and over, and his eyeballs like damn near hanging out of his head. My goodness, it was crazy. But I know it really sucks for Mercury, but I think it did kind of add to the match. And Taylor and Regal were both like solid and did a great job of kind of selling that they were scared of heights. I thought that was genius. Kendrick and London took some insane bumps too, and so did Nitro. Honestly, I feel like it's a pretty underrated ladder match. Commentary was fantastic. Thought the match absolutely ruled, dude. I gave it 5 beers. I really enjoyed it.
Hey, I'm almost right there with you. Not quite 5. I gave it 4. But, dude, this was pure madness. Like, the Hardys, the pop they got that night when they came out, I feel like was probably one of the loudest pops of the night. And, dude,
insane for sure.
Dude, London and Kendrick, I remember they were sick, but, like, I hadn't watched one of their matches together in forever, and they fucking kill it. They're double team moves. So much cool stuff. And, dude, like you said, Mercury's face getting destroyed is so classic. And he just, like, he doesn't just get fucked up a little bit. He's, like, instantly, like, pouring, leaking blood. And the amount of blood that's on the floor afterwards, once he's out of there, you just see so much fucking blood. Then, like you said, the visual just gives it that much more intensity. It's just brutal as hell. And I have, like, almost the exact same note about Taylor and Regal. Like, perfect selling with them right there. Just a brutal, insane amount of blood, like just insane. And I love how Brian Kendrick pretty much botched the sliced bread, but they made it work.
They made it work, indeed. I mean, yeah, dude, it's a great match. I feel like it's pretty underrated for a ladder match, especially in this
I haven't seen that shit in years, and yeah, definitely. I don't know if it's gonna be a match of the night, but if y'all want to go back, this is definitely a one to go back and check if you are interested a bit in some bloody carnage.
I mean, it's easily match of the show, match of the night. I mean, I don't think there's a doubt about that.
Probably right up there.
Yeah. So let's keep it going here because it's the first two are kind of really entertaining, and the next out is Mike Mizanin, not the Miz yet, but just Mike Mizanin, with a promo on the Boogeyman. Because it's just a really good way to let your foot off the gas here, I guess, and cool the crowd down, because that's exactly what it did. It sucked the air out of the room. Not good at all. Then the Boogeyman comes out, and this was the shits. It was bad wrestling. The crowd had no interest in the match at all, no reaction. Pretty much sums up 2006 greatly, having an awesome match that turns into the stupidest storyline for no good reason at all. Yeah, it was short, so there's that. I gave it a quarter of a beer. That's what I gave it.
Hey, you're being generous, and I went by the rule, even though I might be stretching a bit here. There were red lights in this match, so 0.
Oh, fair enough. That's fair.
Boogeyman uses red lights in his stuff, so I'm like, nah. And it's Boogeyman and 06 Miz, not even real Miz. It's when he still has like the faux hawk. Is this pre-faux hawk Miz?
Yeah, this is Mike Mizanin. It's not Miz.
This is fresh off of Tough Enough.
Yeah. Yes, very fresh. Let's keep it rolling here. We get more Divas kind of BS in the back. It's kind of a weak promo from the Guerreros too. Then we get a package for Chavo and Benoit. And I thought the package was insanely well done. I don't know how I feel about Chris Benoit's role in this storyline.
Dude, this is some fucking surreal, weird shit, dude.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. What do you think about this one, man?
Man, if you want to go by just pure in-ring, like, Excuse me.
Pure in ring.
It's early in the morning. Y'all need to wet my whistle a bit, but we're going to talk about, pure in-ring work rate. It's fucking good. It's Chris Benoit and Chavo Guerrero. It's going to deliver every time. But the storyline,
bad.
Dude, and
I feel like we're stretching Eddie's legacy out here at this point. Stretching it
dude,
as far
stretching
as
it, but also like I didn't realize this is just like doing nothing good for his legacy at this point. This is just burying it and making Chris Benoit seem like the crazy abusive guy who's beating up Vicky Guerrero, and then literally a year later, what he does. Oh man, this is tough, and I just felt bad watching the match because like they're putting on good work, but I'm just like, dude,
yeah, you can't. Sometimes you can't turn it off. It's weird. Like I can watch Chris Benoit matches from like WCW in '96 and have no issue. Like it doesn't because it's like that to me is a whole different person. Like
I mean, really, as long as it's not, I can watch any Chris Benoit match that doesn't involve a weird storyline about him beating up Vicky Guerrero, like, and he's supposed to be this and like they're portraying him as this crazy, roid-raged, insane man, and what he turns out, it's just too close to the time.
Too close to home. So I couldn't rate this anything higher than 3 just because I couldn't that took me out of it. Well, we got a chicken dinner here for the first time on the show. I went right in the middle, pretty much the same thing. The storyline just rubbed me the wrong way, man. I mean, that on top of just stretching Eddie's like legacy out as far as you could. Yeah. Because the bell to bell, the match was good. But like the angle, the booking of it was a dud. Like this is a perfect example, of WWE using dead wrestlers to like drag out a fucking horrible storyline. They do it all the time. Ugh. They literally do it all the time, and it's just very bad. And this was perfect. Bad. Yeah, poor taste. So let's keep it rolling here. We get even more divas, just stuff hyping up the lingerie contest, which is so ridiculous. The next match here, though, is Gregory Helms versus Jimmy Wang Yang for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. I think Helms is a very underrated heel in this era, too. I think he really did single-handedly kind of carry this Cruiserweight division in 06. I thought he did great work. The commentary was really, really good, too. I thought JBL did a great job of kind of putting Helms over as a heel. And the crowd was kind of shitting on it, which I didn't understand because I thought the match was great. The top rope neckbreaker was absolutely perfect. Helms got the win with the code breaker, and I feel like Jericho kind of owes Helms some royalties because I don't think Jericho was doing the code breaker yet. So, go ahead and let him get a couple 15, 25 cents every time you hit that code breaker there, Jericho. I thought the match was really good. 3 3/4 beers for me. Where are you at on it? I am being the nice, generous, non-salty one this week because I went 4 beers on this match. Okay. I thought it was fantastic, dude. Yeah, that's just fair. Like you said, that gnarly swinging neck breaker from the top thing, and then the one on the floor was gnarly too. They were really wrestling like a pure, like a modern AEW style that you see on an average match, but this was back in 2006. Yeah, for me it was classic the crowd poo-poo on it. You know what I mean? The crowd poo-pooing on it took away that 1/4 of a beer. Yeah, the crowd didn't understand at this time. We just saw people get set on fire and just titties and ass everywhere. That's all they're worried about at this point. They're not worried about real wrestling. And like this match could have been on a Dynamite and they'd been like, oh man, that was a good match. Like, oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree. This holds up to anything today. That's why I went 4 beers. And Jimmy Wang Yang, I forgot how good he was. I mean, very good. And they've been working back since WCW together and like great chemistry. Yeah. You knew they were going to put on some good shit. And Jimmy Wang Yang like is a legit like Asian redneck. Like I'm pretty sure he's like a truck driver now. Oh no, yeah, he's straight up as redneck as hell. He's from Georgia. That's why like I love Michael. Yeah. The commentary was kind of fun back and forth between JBL and Cole about that too. And it wasn't like bad like Jerry the King Lawler like racist bad. It was funny. Look good, funny. Yeah. Let's just move on. Let's just keep it moving here. We got a package for Kennedy and Taker in a last ride match, which was essentially just an ambulance match, except for a hearse instead of an ambulance. It's kind of crazy how hard they pushed Kennedy at this time. Like, I feel like he was the top star. I feel like even the dirt sheets were like, he's the next Stone Cold. Like, he's going to be this massive, massive star. And then they just kind of dropped him. Like, he got hurt, and then he came back, and then Randy Orton got him fired. Like, and that was it. Like, he had so much heat, and then he just got hurt, and that was it. And it was just done. Like, there was nothing. It's kind of crazy. The match itself is mostly a brawl, and the crowd was really into it because Kennedy was very over at this time. Me, however, not so much. It was just a lot of punches and kicks, and that's just not my style of wrestling. I get why people would like this. I definitely didn't rate it poorly. The commentary was great as well. Even Cole, I feel like, was on top of his game. The bump off the stage was shot really well production-wise, even though it was clearly a crash pad when they zoomed out. It was still really well done. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice little brawl, but not a whole lot more than that for me. So I gave it 3.25 beers, a little over average to me. That's where I'm at with Mr. Kennedy versus Undertaker. Where are you at on it?
All right. Personally, I've never been a fan of Mr. Kennedy, King Kennedy, or whatever the hell he calls himself these days. I never understood what people got about him. He's just seemed very average to me. But he wasn't too bad in this match because it was a brawl, and he's an average guy, and average wrestlers can do brawls. So
he does, you know how his gimmick was being like a ring announcer and doing the Mr. Kennedy. He works for the Fight Network and does boxing, like ring announcing stuff now.
Oh, well, hey, at least that worked out for him. Something went in his favor. But, I mean, Undertaker's always good at brawls, too, so you know it's going to be at least a midway match when they do something like this. It's classic Taker. In this era of The Undertaker, I loved it. I don't know why, because I got tired of that American Badass bullshit after a while, so when he was back to this, I really love this era of The Undertaker. And I miss the old pay-per-view sets, dude. Like, this Armageddon set and the way they utilized it with the bump was sick.
Yeah, the custom sets really make a massive difference. I think AEW does that right. I don't know. I think it's a massive thing.
But we're going to go back to Chris Jericho, like you talked on that previous match. People try to give him shit for that blood and guts bump, and this was way obvious and worse than that this wasn't that bad, and no one gave a shit about it back then. But now that we have the internet and Twitter, people just had to, be meticulous and pick shit, pick it apart and be ridiculous about it. But I just want to say that the Undertaker bump was way obviously worse. Clearly.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
But I went 3.5 beers though, anyways, because it was still an entertaining match. A classic. He would get in the hearse, get ready to drive away, and the Undertaker would pop up. You knew it was going to happen.
It was cheese. It was a great sports entertainment thing.
You knew what was going to happen, but it was great. You're like, oh yeah, it's like the pop, the cheesy pop. You know it's coming. You know it's coming, and when it comes, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, you like it. Yeah. It's like it's a Die Hard moment. It's a cheesy action movie moment that you know you're gonna get, but you love it.
Get that little bone pop, and you're ready for it.
Speaking of, let's keep it rolling here. We finally get a promo from Finlay and Booker. No one is getting double crossed apparently. The promo was terrible. It was really bad. Santa makes an appearance. And does the Divas contest.
Do we have to cover this?
No, we see a bunch of thongs. It's ridiculous. I really don't want to cover it because
Johnson starts dancing.
It's terrible. Okay, let's just keep it rolling on. The main event here is Finlay and King Booker versus Batista and Cena. Honestly, it felt like a cop-out of a match. It felt like a really cheap way to put a main event for a pay-per-view. Because I feel like the rest of the pay-per-view, the undercard's pretty strong, and the main event's trash. Because it's really just 4 singles guys in a tag match. And the crowd was into it because everybody's over, but it's way too much gaga. This was just a miss for me. You knew the baby faces were going to get the win. It's a Christmas time show. It feels like this should have been a random SmackDown main event at some point. You know what I mean? The 2 big baby faces from each show against the 2 big heels. Yeah, I don't know. It was a miss for me. The wrestling wasn't bad though. The crowd was into it. I gave it 1.5 beers. That's where I was at on it. Where were you on this main event tag match?
Wow, Mr. Salty Man, 1.5 beers.
I just didn't like it. I mean, plus the only Booker T is pretty solid. John Cena was not good yet. He wasn't good yet. Batista was never good.
Much of a higher rating than you, so I understand. But dude, essentially what you said, this was a house show tag team main event, a house show match. It was just you got the 2 champions, like you said. Everybody's over. Batista's really over at this point. He's ridiculously over.
Silly.
And it was entertaining.
But yeah.
JBL's commentary on this part of the match was fucking horrible. They said something about, oh yeah, he kicked out, and he goes, you know why? That's called a competitive. I was like, what the fuck? He was just off at this point in the match.
He was probably spent, man, because
it was short though. It was short.
Great work the rest of the show.
Yeah, I will say it was short and sweet.
Yeah, it was short and sweet. It didn't
last too long, and I was like, okay, but yeah, I just went 2 beers. So I was like, just classic main event over. Yep. You get a Batista bomb, everyone goes wild.
Yeah, that's it. That is what it is. I would say overall, Armageddon was a decent show. It certainly wasn't bad. I mean, I mean, the ladder match is easily the match of the night for that show for sure. If you get a chance to watch.
I had the same rating for the Shane Helms versus Jimmy Wang Yang. If you want to see just good wrestling, like I said, it can match up to today's matches too, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it was close. It was close.
Crowd just wasn't hot.
I think I had a full beer over on the ladder match. But either way, it's solid. That's going to end our 2006 storylines. I'm excited to get into 2007. I'm really liking that we're starting to do these nostalgia shows like kind of in order. And it's like either, like the 15 year, I guess, or like the 20 year.
Yeah, and kind of like, and keeping up the storylines, the matches actually mean more because we know what's going on into the match. We know what leads up to it rather than just popping in a random pay-per-view match and be like, all right, like what was the feud that led up to this? Like we kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, we're doing the 25 year and the 15 year. That's what we're doing. So like the 25 year will be 90. So next year we'll get into 97. I'm super hyped for that. We'll also get into some 2007, some TNA 2007. We got a lot of really cool shit, man. Maybe even cover some old school Ring of Honor because at that point they were finally starting to get going too. But speaking of Ring of Honor, let's jump into our current pay-per-view. It's going to be going up against Ring of Honor's Final Battle 2021. Man, the knock on ROH has always been that their production value has not been up to par. And honestly, the package was pretty good, but the first minute of the package had no sound on the pay-per-view. And it's like, this is why, like, it's little things, guys. It's the little things, guys. Like, it really just makes a massive difference. Yeah, I don't know, man. The story of ROH, I don't know what does. I thought the package was good, though. Did you like the opening package here?
Yeah, it was good. It's, a little montage showing all the old champions and big Ring of Honor stars of the past. It was a nice little opener, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched it later, and I think the version that I watched maybe did have audio. But then I had some other later.
Like the actual fight pay-per-view, so maybe I put it back in, but.
Okay, I definitely bootlegged this 100%, so I had some stream issues, but yeah, it was a nice package.
Nice package. Okay. All right, let's get to the opening match here. It's Dragon Lee versus Ray Horace. I know this is a small thing, but Dragon Lee has hideous basics. Like, his lockup is trash. Any of his, like, actual, like, I feel, okay, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I feel like both guys pretty much had, like, the flash moves were great. But the basics were really bad. Like it's like they just jumped straight from maybe a day or two of running ropes and doing chain wrestling to doing like the flippity floppity shit because it just wasn't very technically sound. Yeah, dude. No. This was sloppy. Like not. I mean, I've seen Lucha Libre is a little bit more fast paced. Like they were trying to do an American style. It was not Lucha Libre. It was like this was way slower than Lucha is, and so because you can see, I don't know. At one point, too, Ray Horace is like taking punches in the corner and he's adjusting his knee pads at the same time. And I did
not notice that, but that is absolutely ridiculous.
I'm like, yeah, it's all flash and no meat. It's all flash and no meat. I didn't think it was a good match. At one point, there was a ripcord into a half crab. Like he picked him up off the ground to give him a ripcord to grab a leg to put him back on the ground and do a single crab. It's fucking dumb. Its match was dumb. I gave it 1.5 beers.
Damn. I did not rate it that
indie level. Neither guy should be on a major show, period.
Well, I've seen both of these guys work great matches before, especially Dragon Lee. Ray Horace, I didn't really know much about, but I did not think it was that bad. I thought it was very fast-paced, and I will agree. Some of their like basic shit was not as good, but I don't know if it was really Ray Horace or more Dragon Lee, because I've seen Dragon Lee have some amazing matches like in Japan and stuff against like Hiromu Takahashi, like, and some stuff in Ring of Honor. So like maybe it was more of a Ray Horace thing, but I didn't think it was that bad. I still gave it 2.75 beers. I thought it was like almost a 3-beer match. There's some crazy reversals, and I liked some of the. I was just into the high flying, fast paced stuff. I know you're more of you want a little bit more traditional stuff in your wrestling, but I understand. But yeah, I went 2.75, almost a 3-beer for me. I don't know what really could have made it a 3-beer, get it that extra beer for me, in my opinion, but I can see where you're coming from. I understand. I'm not gonna fault you for saying that. I get
fluff. It's all fluff and flash. There's no actual pro wrestling here. It was just acrobatics. There was none. Like it was literally just acrobatics. That's cool. Like they're great gymnasts, I guess. Let's
Maybe
keep
because
it
I was
going.
watching this at work and I was like, ooh, I'm seeing some flippy flops while I'm at work. Just having fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Don't watch this match, guys. It sucked. We did get a package after this. It's like a promo, really, and we got several of these. The first one was from Eddie Edwards, kind of giving a nice goodbye. I hope it doesn't end, but if it does, thank you for everything. Yada yada yada. Yeah, and then the next match on the card here is Joe Hendry versus Silas Young versus Rhett Titus versus Dalton Castle. It's a 4-corner Survivors Ring of Honor team. Yeah, that's what I said. I led with him.
Sorry.
Damn it, Wex. Pay attention, boy. The match was dope. It's a high spot fest for sure, but it all made sense. Though I never felt like one guy was laying out too much. I thought it was great, man. I love Dalton Castle. I think
you froze up.
Oh, sorry.
You're good
now.
I
thought the match was
froze
great.
Up for a second.
I thought Dalton Castle was awesome. I thought they had a great speed, great tempo, great power, lots of entertainment from the boys too. The ref bump was garbage, but you can't really put that on the workers. That really took away from the match. It was so bad. He just gets out of the ring, he just starts getting out of the ring well before he gets hit. Like, what a bitch. Yeah, ref bump. I mean, it was obviously noticeable. I mean, it was just bad. I felt like the work was good. It was a quick finish. It was very, very good match. Not great, but very good. I think the ref bump really took at least a half a beer away from it. So I gave it 3 3/4 beers. So almost 4.
We're very, very close on this one, and I agree. This was like a very fun 4-way match, and I love the antics of Dalton Castle.
Dude.
All that played into the match very well, because you have the serious guys, and then Dalton Castle's over here just doing his shit, and commentary really sold it too, talking about his hip muscles. Yeah, that was really popping. Like, oh well, he has got the best hip muscles here. You don't want to catch him when he gets those hips going. And dude, Joe Hendry, I saw him live at Ring of Honor back when they came to Nashville before. But dude, has he always been this big of a hoss? Did he start training real hard during the pandemic? Because I don't ever remember him being this big and doing all these power moves.
No, I mean he was a little thicker and not so defined. He's a lot more defined now than he was.
Because he looks because he was definitely impressing me. I don't ever remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There were some great power moments here too, which are kind of rare these days, and they're missed. I think they're still pretty cool. So yeah.
And I really enjoyed Rhett Titus winning, especially with the drop kick. They sold it
same
drop kick. The drop kick's his finisher.
Same.
He's perfected it. If he hits it, you don't like that.
Dude, his body looks like $1 million. Looks like he got his body from Gucci,
but his
face looks like he got it from Five Below, bro. It is knockoff Wish level Kid Rock. It's like if you ordered a Kid Rock mask and it was loose and looked really weird.
You can't fault him for his face. He was born like that. He's still a good wrestler. He can't. His face doesn't affect his drop kick.
Put a mask on, bro. Jesus.
Oh yeah, he might put a mask on. But hey, I think it's cool seeing him get that title after being in Ring of Honor for 15 fucking years or something. That's really cool.
It's awesome. Yeah, he is great too.
Good story. Even though he looks really funny, he looks if you got leprosy and your face started deforming.
I am also a very funny looking dude, so it's all good. It's all good.
Not bad at all though. I went 3.5. I thought it was a really good one. Really good 4-way there. Really good, nice.
Really good 4-way.
Way to go out. Yeah, really good 4-way, baby.
All right, let's keep it rolling. We got the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Adam Page getting a promo to thank ROH as well. That was very good too. It was very heartfelt, and it wasn't really a promo. It seemed like an actual personal thank you, which was nice. The next match on the card here is Brian Johnson versus Josh Woods for the ROH Pure Wrestling Championship. I love the idea of this division. I love the rules. I love the way it's set up. I think it's super cool. I think that this is the way you should move with a specific style of championship. Get rid of the cruiserweights and X division and start doing this in every company. Just pure rules or whatever. I think no closed fists. I think it's just, I don't know. It's just
you get
really
one
good.
Closed fist.
Yeah, you get one, or the next one gets you disqualified. You only get X amount of rope breaks. I think it's just really well done with the timing of it too. Great idea. Yeah, I mean, both these guys are very, very good wrestlers, too. Johnson feels like a really good pickup for MLW or Impact or even NWA. I think Brian Johnson could be really good in NWA. Josh Woods actually feels like a really good option for WWE. I think that he fits that 2.0 mold really well. I think Josh Woods versus Braun Breaker or whatever would be great. I think they're both really good and meaty. They could do that power stuff, but they're also very agile. I think it's a good pickup for WWE, honestly. Better than even AEW. I think Josh Woods would do well in WWE. The match was great, though, man. Smart psychology. The rope break spots and into the eye poke and the near fall was a great false finish, especially for this kind of thing. It brings me back to those, like, you know, it's like I think the reason why I like these rules so much is because I feel like it takes us back to those Steamboat Savage days, but keeps it modern. And it's like they finally figured out a way to do that, because I think all of us do kind of miss that wrestling a little bit. Like, I mean, the old school, just a lot of it's pretty much just chain wrestling and arm bars and headlocks, but the guys just do it so well, and their high spots are timed out so well, and they sell it so well that the slower pace makes you like it. And I think that these guys did a great job with it, man. 4.5 beers. Submission spot was great. Solid match. Really, really, really enjoyed it. 4.5 for me.
I'm almost right there with you on this. And like, just like you said, I enjoy the whole concept of this thing. It's like that Grand Prix championship that Impact tried to do that they just could not execute right. Like, they tried to do like 3 rounds and kind of had similar rules, but it was dumb. Like, these rules work a lot better.
Yes.
And both of these dudes knew how to execute it perfectly. Like, I don't feel like most wrestlers, like you said, someone like Ray Horace and Dragon Lee, they wouldn't be able to pull off a match like this.
No, absolutely not.
I think it takes a very specific type of wrestler, like a pure wrestler. Hence, no pun intended.
And Brian Johnson worked perfectly as an old school heel.
I know, and his charisma was great. Like, I don't really know much about Brian Johnson because I haven't really been watching Ring of Honor or wherever he came from. And dude, he had really good charisma. It was shit talking, like very like good work, stiff, good chain wrestling, like very fluid. And I love like the story. Like, he used up his rope breaks early and then couldn't get out of the choke. Like, it was just, they executed it perfect. I went 4 years.
Yeah, go ahead.
Almost as much as you 4, but dude, fantastic. I really enjoy this style.
Yeah. I mean, this is not my match of the night, but this is what I would suggest to go watch, if that makes sense. It's just because it's very good. Both guys are kind of, up and coming, and I think it's pretty awesome. We did get a Jimmy Jacobs kind of gets to cut his little thank you promo. It was very nice. And then we got a great package for Kenny King and Shane Taylor. It's Kenny King versus Shane Taylor, fight without honor. They come out of the gate with the brawl. Commentary was decent most of the show, but I think they really kind of overdid it with this one. Like, I feel like they were hyping it up.
There's a reason, though, because Caprice Coleman is part of the faction.
I get that, but it just didn't. Their energy didn't seem to match the energy in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, they were like way over, like even when because it's like, you can be slow and methodical and it still be an intense match. And that's what I think the guys in the ring delivered that. But the commentary was delivering like this frantic, fast-paced commentary. And I felt like it didn't really match the action in the ring, if that makes sense. Not going to fault the workers for that, but it was just something that I noticed. The crowd was very into it. The blockbuster through the table was a dope spot.
Right off, that was pretty early on, too.
Yeah.
They went hard early.
Yeah, and honestly, for me, like, my only takeaway is in this angle, I know they're a babyface faction and it's like they're fighting within each other, but I don't think they did a really good job of like showing who's the heel and who's the babyface. You know what I mean? I really don't think they did that very well. Either way, it was a good brawl, but it took a little of the story off. Not a bad match, but it wasn't a great match either. There were definitely some significant stutter steps in there. I feel like a smidge past the middle feels right to me, so I went 3.5. Could have been a 4.5 if it had been like better executed, but 3.5.
Hey, winner chicken dinner for the second time. I also gave this match 3.5 beers, and man, they were really just fucking each other up. That's what this was. Yeah. Like I said, that big blockbuster spot early, like the very scary botch of the package pile driver through the ladder where the ladder just slipped and Kenny King just straight up landed on his head. I was like, fucking hell. Because Shane Taylor's a big motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's not small. He's not small.
And but they really, like, they went all out just beating the fuck out of each other. And I like the story part at the end. They embrace with the hug. It's like they finally, I guess, have the respect for each other and whatever. But dude, they just fucked each other. Dude, Kenny King with that DDV on him like through the table. That takes some fucking strength to get that man up, and that was raw power right there.
Yeah, Kenny King is I still think he's underrated, man.
I forgot that Kenny King was on Tough Enough.
Yeah, dude. He's
been around forever.
But that's the thing too. Like, I mean, Kenny King is underrated and underutilized, I think. But it is what it is. Let's keep it moving here.
He looks great now. He's in really good shape.
Like, I'm almost like, bro, like, now is your time to go solo. Like, get out of this faction with Shane. Go solo. Go to GCW. Like, I think that's the place for him to go. Go to GCW, then maybe back to Impact. Maybe even some AEW darks here and there. Maybe do a TNT challenge. You versus Sammy Guevara would be dope. I'd love to see that. Yeah, let's keep it rolling here, though. We got CM Punk thanking Ring of Honor in the back. Very good promo. And then we got a package for the women's division. The next match here is Willow versus Roxy for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. It's very strong and very technically sound. There were a couple stutter steps in there, but overall it was a very solid wrestling match, and I didn't necessarily expect that from these two. Both of these ladies have very bright futures for sure. Maybe the best wrestling wrestling match on the card without just pure wrestling. Like as far as like the transitions, the smoothness, the chain. It could have gone a little longer, in all honesty. I mean, I get why they shortened it. It was a very solid match. I really liked the post-match stuff with Purrazzo there as well, too. I think Willow is another 2.0 signing. I think that she would do great in NXT because she's bigger. She's got a bigger stature, and she can really work. And she's got that bubbly kind of personality. It's right up WWE's alley. I gave it 3.5 beers. I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I'm super hyped to see Roxy and Purrazzo. That's going to be a great match. What do you think about this women's championship match?
Hey, I mean, I can't agree with you more on this one. This was really good, and like you said, they not like you said, but kind of what referenced what you said earlier with Ray Horace and Dragon Lee. These two girls were more technically sound than them. They weren't doing all the crazy high spots that I enjoy, but technically sound, they did a lot better there. And Willow Nightingale, that's her last name, right? I'm pretty sure I've seen her in some other promotions before. Like, I want to say like maybe Impact at least at some point.
No, she's great for sure.
Because I feel like
it's obvious that they're both young is what I'm saying. Like they both have a ways to go for sure.
But I could definitely, I feel like she was kind of like helping control the match, kind of like leading everything.
Yeah.
I mean, which makes sense. The bigger person usually does that.
Yeah.
It only works that way. I mean, it works better that way usually.
And Roxy's great too, man. I mean, she deserves to be, if she is the last ever Ring of Honor champion, she deserves it. She was really good for sure. Yeah,
but I went right there in the middle.
3 beers for you?
3 beers.
Okay, that's solid. I'm not going to argue too much with you about that one. Let's keep it rolling here. Adam Cole got a little promo thank you as well and was also very nice, very touching, yada, yada, yada. The next match here is Violence Unlimited versus The Foundation. It's a multi-man tag to kind of get everybody on the show. And the work was good for sure. Everyone kind of gets their shine. Taylor Rust looks like a star for sure. EC3 looks like an absolute Exxon gas station.
Dude, I was talking about that shit when I saw him. He was purely pumping that juice, that gas.
Goodness. Yeah. I mean, there were more than a few stutter steps in here for sure. A few downright ugly misses. The turnbuckle brainbuster spot was probably the spot of the night, in my opinion. I got to go slightly below average if I'm totally being honest with you. I really didn't get behind this. I know it's a way to kind of introduce like the Titan and the whole like post-match thing and building a really big-ass stable of like 7 people or something. But, I gave it 2.5 beers. I couldn't go much higher than that. Where are you at on it?
I went a little bit higher, a little bit more. I was going to say, I'm reading my notes generico, a little bit more generous with my rating because just that little nostalgia pop at the end where they were doing all the finishers from all the old Ring of Honor wrestlers. Like you said, the generico brainbuster spot, like he hit the haluva kick, but I did not think he was going to go for the turnbuckle brainbuster. That was sick. And then we got to see fucking Homicide hit the cop killer. Man, it was a good nostalgia pop. So I went 3 beers. If it wasn't for the nostalgia, it probably would have been rated a little bit lower, but that stuff just added a little bit extra to the match. Got me hyped up a little bit. And then that sign that Homicide brought in the ring, it looked like someone's kid drew it with crayons.
Yeah, it was bad. It was actually a terrible sign, but good for them.
My girlfriend pointed that one out to me. I was like, yeah, that's pretty shitty. Pretty garbage.
Pretty garbage indeed. Yeah, EC3 cut a promo and kind of builds that new faction, whatever, introduces the Titan.
But why would they introduce the Titan on like the last Ring of Honor show? Do you think he's going to come back?
Apparently they have a Super Card of Honor show scheduled and the venue booked in April. So I think that they're milking this whole I think that this is why they're letting people like defend Ring of Honor titles everywhere, and they're advertising it that way. And honestly, if they might be able to just keep Ring of Honor alive doing it like that, doing like 4 shows a year and just having their titles be used on indie shows.
Well, what I've heard is that they're gonna be kind of like GCW. They're not really gonna have many contracted wrestlers. It's gonna be like, the super indies. They just like pay people per appearance and stuff.
Yeah, which is fine. And I think that's great. I mean, I think they'll probably end up having, because I think GCW now has like a handful of people under contract.
Okay, well,
like I don't, maybe like less than a dozen. I think like less than 12.
That's cool
people.
though. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like I think it's more of like, this is like, you're contracted to be committed to me for X amount of dates, and as long as I tell you within 90 days, you have like we get priority or whatever. I don't think it's like
they're not
exclusive.
They're not getting salaried or anything like that.
Yeah, but it's like, like a Joey Janela is obviously signed to AEW, but like I'm sure he's committed. Like he has a deal that says, okay, you're going to do at least 12 shows for me this year.
Yeah, he has. I want to say he might have like something to do with like running GCW and like
I think so too. I think so too. And I think GCW eventually will become an upstream for AEW maybe.
It's the third promotion these days, to be honest. It's the third promotion.
It is taken over for Ring of Honor, in my opinion, for sure. Although, there's a lot of talk of Tony buying the Ring of Honor catalog, the video catalog, and maybe turning that dark situation into just being Ring of Honor. And I think that would be a good idea too. I mean, I don't think anybody's like really attached to Dark or Elevation or anything like that. You could just make it a 2-hour show, keep it on YouTube, call it Ring of Honor, and go from there. But yeah, let's keep it rolling here. Let's get to, I think it's our main event.
No, we have two more. We have the tag team and then the world title.
Yeah, we got the Bucks thanking Ring of Honor as well. All those packages were very cool. I'm sure you can just watch those on YouTube. But the match here is the Briscoes versus the OGK, which is Taven and Bennett. I forgot about Taven, and I'm sorry I did, and Bennett too, honestly, it was in a slump. I think this tag team is surprisingly awesome. I think that they should stay together. I think that they should market themselves as a tag team with Maria. I think that there's a lot of meat on the bone there.
I mean, it's the Kingdom. It's just the Kingdom minus Adam Cole. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know, but like, I don't know.
You just want them to be more of a tag team than a stable. Is kind of what you're saying. Let them just be.
Because when they were a stable, they were individuals and would sometimes tag. Yeah. Like this is a tag team. You know what I mean? Like. And I agree, feel 100%.
Like they got matching gear. It's more of a
they
vibe.
Both kind of went through a slump when they went on their singles. Like the past couple years, they've both been in a slump. And I think that
Matt Taven won the Ring of Honor World Championship and everything. I think it was more Bennett on the slump.
Well, but Bennett won the Pure Championship, didn't he?
That must be recently.
I'm just saying that like when Taven was champ, Ring of Honor was probably at their lowest.
Yeah, nobody was watching it. No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like. I'm saying for their careers, like moving on from Ring of Honor, I hope they stay as a tag team. That's pretty much what I'm saying. I would love to see them versus some of the great tag teams in AEW. I think that there's a lot there. Maybe even go to Japan and wrestle the tag teams over there because they've got a lot of really good tags over there as well. Yeah, honestly, this is probably my match of the night. The energy, the work rate, the crowd was hotter for this than anything else, obviously. Yeah, I mean, the feud that's going to eventually happen from the split between Taven and Bennett is probably going to be amazing as well. So I hope that they get to do that on a national level. Jay got a little, I feel like some hard way blood pretty early on and good on
right under the eye.
Yeah, it looked great. Everything about this felt top notch. The selling was phenomenal. The Maria involvement, the Gaga, the little splash of sports entertainment was very 80s NWA. So it's still good pro wrestling to me. Suicide dive into the Doomsday Device on the outside was absolutely insane.
Dude.
The finish was incredible to me. The finish of like 4 or 5 finishers in a row on Taven shows them so much respect. And it actually helped. To me, both teams looked amazing by the end of this match. I don't think anybody lost from it. 5 beers. I thought it was really, really great. The Briscoes are arguably one of the greatest tag teams of all time. You got to at least put them in the top 10. I don't know if you can put them in the top 5 because they've never done it on a consistent basis in front of arena-sized people. But I hope they do get a chance. I would absolutely love to see them in AEW. I think that God, I mean, I really would like to see that, but GCW is great for them too. I feel like it makes the most sense. They've always been that third brand tag team, so I feel like GCW is probably where they'll end up. But I would like to see them in AEW. What did you think about this tag team match, man?
Dude, it was hard, brutal, fast. Like the OG Kingdom, they were fucking flying all over the place. Dude, like you said, that Doomsday device, that was fucking sick. The suicide dive, Doomsday device, everything. Like you said, that story built where they were just finisher after finisher, nothing could put them away. And, you know, I love that because it's showing respect for the wrestler. It's building them up. Unlike, you know, some other promotions, they'll have someone lose off of some bullshit finisher or a stupid roll up. Like, this was great fucking tag team psychology. Even though they were doing a lot of the crazier stuff and more of the high flying, they still were doing your traditional tag team stuff. And talking about traditional tag teams, the post match, the people who came out, talk about AEW, we could definitely see it now with FTR coming out there, basically trying to attack them, setting up the challenge. Dude, FTR versus the Briscoes.
I think that's going to happen in AAA, actually.
Well, then, no matter where it happens, it's going to be fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
but,
I agree. I agree.
The feud will eventually lead to AEW, which I really hope. I heard the Briscoes have been backstage at some of the most recent Dynamite tapings. So
I would love it, man. I mean, I think that they're such a good tag team, dude. And I mean, I know that there has been the Young Bucks versus the Briscoes several times, but like, give them on an AEW pay-per-view level, like it would just be magical.
Yeah.
Or like throw them in a three-way, like give me like a TLC for like tag titles or something. You know what I mean? Like Lucha Bros in there or FTR in there.
Oh my
whoever.
God.
Like,
Lucha Bros just versus them would be amazing. But I went 4.5 beers on this. I thought it was really good.
I went to full 5. I'm a mark for tag team wrestling, man. I just love tag teams.
I mean, this was definitely like best, like excitement, like crazy excitement of the night. Like there's different types of excitement because the main event has its own different whole type of excitement, just like in that pure match. Like, but I feel like this match, it could be on like this is a Dynamite match, or a pay-per-view or a AEW Dynamite main event, like one of those badass AEW.
I thought it was great,
matches.
man.
Yeah, it was great. Fantastic. Fucking love the Briscoes. The only rednecks I've ever heard of from Delaware, which I didn't know Delaware was country, but
they're not southern, but it's very country. Like Delaware is just pretty much country. Like it's just farmland for the most part. But
I don't know. I'm from Tennessee.
Let's keep it rolling here. We're gonna lead us to the Danielson got his like thanking Ring of Honor segment. I liked all the segments. Again, be sure to go watch those on YouTube. Main event here is Jay Lethal versus Jonathan Grisham. Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship here. Okay, listen. The match was super, super good. Bell to bell, phenomenal. I don't think I could fault any one thing. I don't think there was anything wrong. But it also felt like I was watching Jay Lethal versus Jay Lethal. Like their styles are just so similar that it almost feels like when you like have two of the same exact wrestler in like a SmackDown or whatever, and it's like just two alternate like outfits, but your so their animations even look the same. Like it's like it literally looks like their it felt too smooth. Like it was too smooth because it felt like the same guy, even down to their body language, their movement, just touching each other. Like the way they hold their bodies is so similar.
I think that plays a lot into the story though.
No, I agree. I listen, I gave the match 4.5 beers. I loved the match, but it felt creepy at moments. Like it was so mirror that it felt like almost like horror movie level. Like it felt creepy the way it was just so similar. Like, I don't know, 4.5 beers. The bell to bell was phenomenal, but it's almost like when you watch like the new graphics and stuff. Like I don't know if you've seen that new Matrix video game, but it's like you watch like actual live footage and then it cuts to like their like CGI essentially, and it's virtually impossible to tell the difference, and it feels kind of creepy. Like the human nature is to find that kind of creepy. Like that's what this felt like to me. Still a great match though.
Well, I agree. I gave it just a little bit more, and I sort of agree not agree, but I sort of see where you're coming from, because the story of this match, if you really, I'm sure you do know the story, but like Jay Lethal is the one who basically trained Jonathan Grisham. So it makes sense. It's like he's taking the master style and like can do every single thing that he's taught him. And
it's great.
I love how that played in the match because it was like, dude, the student's finally becoming the teacher.
Yeah.
Or not really. He's not. The student is showing that he's his equal now.
Yeah.
I can become the world champion just like you have. I thought it was fucking fantastic. Like you said, move for move, so fluid, so great. They didn't miss a single step on this. The only thing that took it out of it for me, that didn't give it 5 beers, the crowd just did not seem to be with it for some reason as much. Towards the end, when all the wrestlers came out, they picked it back up, but like they just weren't as hyped. Like maybe the Briscoes wore them out because, like you said, crazy. Like they were doing like big crazier moves, and this was a pure fucking wrestling match, which that's what Ring of Honor is all about. I love the ending. You know, his wife, his best friend comes in there, and I saw this hilarious like little tweet because Baron Black, he wrestles on AEW Dark. He's on like a 36 match losing streak, and it was like best friend, world champion, me 0-36. But that was a good story. Very great pay-per-view. I mean, really, there was no match, like wrestling-wise, there was no match that was below I mean, I know you gave one below a 3, but like everything was almost
like
in the middle.
Yeah. But 2.5 is not like the worst, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But everything was almost mid-level or higher on this.
I agree. It was a great show. It was a great show. I mean, Briscoes versus OGK is definitely my match of the night. So honestly, for both of the shows this week, the tag matches are my match of the night for both of them. But yeah, I loved it, man. I'm excited to see where it goes with Ring of Honor. I'm excited to see the future here. Speaking of the future, let's talk about what we got coming up here soon. We've only got a couple more episodes left. Two, in fact. We have 2 episodes coming up left of season 3, and then we're into season 4. And I for one am super, super excited about that. Here we go, dude. Like next week is our last nostalgia versus nostalgia episode. At least for season 3. The more I've like thought about it, the more I'm like looking into storylines that I like that we're doing. I mean, honestly, right now, like we're doing WCW 96 going into 97. We're doing WWF going into 96 and 97. We're doing WWE going into 2006 and 2007. And then we have been doing TNA 06 going into 07. That's 4 right there. So that's at least a nostalgia show for every week of the month, right?
Yeah, we'll be able to work it like that easily with all those.
I feel like we can. But the problem is it's going to be able to find like some current events, because I don't want to have certain weeks where we have to have a list show, because I want to cover all those storylines, you know? So we're going to have to make it work one way or the other. We'll figure something out there. Maybe we'll cover some just AEW TV from that week and just put it up against an old school pay-per-view or whatever if we don't have a current one to cover, but we'll figure that out.
What if we went back and maybe, we have the Peacock did like an old school Nitro or Raw from that same time period. We could maybe pull something like that to keep the storyline going.
Could absolutely do that. I agree fully. We could completely do that. Let's talk about next week though. Next week we're doing WCW's 1996, continuing that storyline. And I did change it up here. We're going to do WWF In Your House 12. It's time. That is Bret Hart versus Psycho Sid for the WWF World Championship.
Okay.
I'm pretty excited about that one. And we're literally wrapping up 96 for WCW and WWF here, going into my favorite year of all time, 1997. So I am really, really hyped for this. Have you seen these pay-per-views before, Wex?
I've never seen the first one that you're talking about, the In Your House 12, Bret Hart and Sid, but Starrcade is the other one we're covering, correct?
Yeah.
I've seen Starrcade before on the net, like when the network first came out, but the WCW stuff, I watched it, but it's been a while, so definitely looking forward to seeing Hulk Hogan. Hollywood Hogan. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. The following week is going to be right before New Year's. It's going to be our end of the year review and recap. So that show is going to be some superlatives, just us kind of talking about everything that we've gone through in 2021, how our show has grown, the stuff that we liked from WWE, AEW, NXT, so on. That show itself will probably only be about 35 minutes. Also, too, everybody's got a lot going on the holidays, so that'll be your normal podcast feed. However, we're going to try to do it. I'm either going to come to Wex's house or he can come over here or whatever. And we are going to stream on Twitch how we are going to break down our season 4. So we are going to have our first ever Twitch stream. And that will be, you can always go to our Twitter to find where our Twitch stream will be. I will be posting the link there on the Twitter, and that's at KayfabeCom, everywhere at KayfabeCom except for TikTok, which is at KayfabeComPod. We're also going to try to go live on YouTube as well, since we've been putting some videos up there and we're getting some engagement there as well. So I'm excited about it. Wex, I mean, doing the year in review and then like breaking down season 4 with our people. You know what I mean? Like having them hop on live.
Fun. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I've never really been on a Twitch stream. I'll try not to get us banned. I'll try not to say cracker because apparently that'll get you banned. Even though I'm white. Even though I'm white, it'll still get you banned. But yeah, I'll try not to get us banned. I'll keep it clean. I'll keep it PG-13, and we'll have a good time with our fans, discuss some wrestling, and you know. I'm hyped for it.
I think
I'll try not to get too wasted.
Drop F-bombs on Twitch, right? You just have to like make sure that have your explicit thing on or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. Like I said, I just know people get banned for crazy shit all the time. So
okay, well, we're not going to get banned, but we're going to talk about season 4. I've already got the music written for it. I've gotten everything together. I got the intro and the outro. They're both done.
And I might have to cut a freestyle or something.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to try to get some sponsors for season 4 too as well. We've been talking about that. Maybe get Exit in on there. Maybe talking about the shows coming up there and getting them to sponsor the show. Yeah, we're also going to have Jesse Baker in a more per appearance role, like maybe a couple shows every month or so. Doing the Baker's Dozen idea. We're going to get him on with some random friends. Maybe they'll do some watch-alongs. Maybe they'll do their own little lists. And honestly, that's just so me and Wex can like live our lives sometimes, guys. Because a lot of times it's like 7 hours of wrestling every week that we have to watch. And, you know, sometimes we have like just things to do. So it's hard to get all that done.
Speaking of like watch alongs and stuff, sometimes if you guys know the shows that we're going to be covering, sometimes I will occasionally invite people to watch along those shows that we are going to cover for the week. Because it's just more fun to watch a wrestling show with some friends instead of just by yourself in your room with a beer.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's why I wanted to start the Twitch channel. I feel like it'd be easier if we could,
exactly.
You know, if you're watching it, just go live on Twitch, or if I'm watching it or whatever. And I think we can even share together on that. So we could probably even do some watch-alongs together while you're at your house and I'm at mine. That'd be nice. But yeah, I'm excited, man. The future looks bright, and I'm gonna give you a sneak peek into what we have for season 4. We are definitely going to be covering WWE's Day 1 2022. And since we haven't talked about this angle in the storyline, that 06 TNA in a while, I'm going to bring that one in here, and we're going to have TNA Final Resolution from 2007. So that would have been their January pay-per-view. We're moving into 2007 there.
Okay.
And then our second episode of season 4 is going to be Impact's Hard to Kill 2022. So that's 2 current pay-per-views back to back. We're getting on the right pace here, and that's going to be going up against WCW's Sold Out from 1997.
Ooh, Sold Out. That's a classic. Yeah. I haven't watched that one in years.
So I'm excited about that one. So yeah, that's a little sneak taste into season 4. So that's where we're going to launch on our Twitch stream to kind of like go from there and shape the rest of. I'd like to get all the way through summer. If we can do the first 6 months, that'd be great. So that's what we're going to try to do. But yeah. That's going to do it for us this week, guys. You can always find me at Daniel Daybreak, all of your social medias. The show is at KayfabeCom on all of the socials, or at Kayfabe Comparisons on YouTube and on Twitch. It'll be Kayfabe Comparisons. Yeah, TikTok is at KayfabeCom Pod. We've kind of been neglecting the TikTok because we're trying to build the YouTube. Tell us if that's a mistake. Maybe we should just be pulling these clips and putting them on TikTok. I don't know. I feel like we might be getting a little bit more engagement on TikTok than we are on YouTube. So who knows?
Maybe we'll do both.
Maybe we'll do both. And also, I definitely want to get involved in the Twitch streaming thing. I think that would be fun. Maybe even start doing premium streams for the people that like the show that can come and actually listen to us do the podcast live on Thursday nights as well. Maybe like, I don't know, $3 a month or something like that. We'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm excited, man. The future looks bright. Season 4 looks awesome. Wex, where can people find you?
You can find me at Wex Breaking the Lawson on all of your social medias. And as you know, KayfabeCom on YouTube. You know, check that out. Gonna be more clips. Gonna clip it up, get real nice. Get some good shit. Yeah, we just want you to engage with us. I'm trying to talk to people. I want to hear your opinions and shit. It's fun. I like to engage with people on wrestling.
Love it. We love to engage with people on wrestling.
That's right, Bubba.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Holla, holla.
Peace.